Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to another exciting, head-scratching episode of Insane Disappearances. Guess what? Little thing I like to say sometimes. But I am your host. I am your Insane Disappearances guy. I am also... I am that guy. I am that guy who smiles back. I'm not a goldfish. Or should I say goldfish? Anyway. Just thought of that, but don't pay me no mind. Anyway, welcome back, guys. And because I'm back, thank you. I know it's been a minute, but to tell you the truth, like I told you guys in that live video, been going through some things. Pressure is high blood pressure is a very serious epidemic for a lot of people, whether you're young and old. Obviously, by me being young, that's something that I really have to watch out for, because my grandfather passed away of a massive stroke. My father passed away of a stroke and a heart attack. I don't know if it was a massive stroke, but I just know he died from a heart attack and a stroke about 10, 11 years ago. And my mom had a stroke about 7 years ago, but it was a mild stroke. So, given the fact that I have seen all of this, I have basically paid attention to everything that has something to do with a stroke. It actually almost happened to me September 8th at 3:30 in the morning. But the miraculous part of it was, I came home because I was already having problems with my blood pressure at that point. It was at 213, people. My family, 213. That is stroke level. Okay, so get home. I'm already popping the medicine that the doctor prescribed for me. Little white baby ones. It's called Bessie something. My aunt actually takes the same stuff for her high blood pressure. Yeah, and her too. So it kind of runs in the family. Even though it's not hereditary or genetic, it just depends on the generation of foods that get cooked and gets passed down from one generation to another. Oh, shoot, excuse me. So I went down the wrong pipe. Oh, I hate that. Okay, so that's the one thing that people tend to get wrong. It's not hereditary and it's not genetic. It just depends on how the earliest generation of your family started cooking. And each mother passes down that way of cooking from one daughter to another, and sometimes the son. So you are adding the effects of strokes and heart attacks to every member of your family because of the way that your grandparents and their grandparents and their parents and all that stuff used to cook. Okay, like in my family, my Nana, who is the matriarch of our family, who passed away in 2013, she cooked the same way for decades. Oh, well, I don't say for decades, but for years, but it was passed down from her mother and her mother before her mother before her, and all that stuff. So she passed that down to all of her daughters, and they cooked for their kids. So it's like a trickle effect. It's like that family tree thing, except the family tree line is actually the food that we've been eating over the years. So every single person in my family has had a stroke, okay? Or they got big and they died from obesity or whatever, or the stroke came on because of their overweightness and all that stuff. So, it's a lot. So for me, it's mainly stress, with the goings on in my life, out, away from the camera and outside of work and all that stuff. So that's something I don't need to get into. But to tell you the truth, I'm sitting in my chair, and around 3:30 in the morning when I got up because I couldn't sleep, a voice in the back of my mind said, "Take a walk." I knew it was my guardian angel, Peter. So I didn't argue with him. After the two other incidences that came in like that right after the fact, I decided I would never doubt what he says ever again. So whatever he tells me, I'm going to listen, because that's what he is. That's what he was created for, to protect me, to guide me, and he guided me down the street. So I started walking around that time in the morning. Locked my door, kept walking. I got halfway down the street and I felt it coming on me. I felt a line go down the middle of my body. This whole right side started to tingle. And so he just said, keep walking and keep everything moving. So I'm like going all like this. I'm popping and locking all like this here, keeping everything flowing and moving. I'm keeping my head moving so this won't droop, because I felt a tingling sensation right here and right here. But it wasn't like this. But it wasn't like this. It didn't do that. So here's the thing. He told me as I'm walking, he said, the reason why people get so affected by strokes and heart attacks is because they stay still. They don't get up and move around. I don't mean move around the house until you get so scared that you can call 911. You get up, and you walk, and you walk, and you walk, and you walk. The motion of the body actually counteracts the effects of the stroke. Okay? I'm telling you this because I know personal experiences. 40 minutes later, it was gone. I literally walked it out of my system. Now, I'm not saying I was out of the woods yet, but I still didn't have to call 911. Okay? I had the medicine I needed to take, and I know my diet had to change, so I did. I eat salads all the time. I eat nuts and stuff like that instead of your typical snacks like potato chips. All that crap is processed. Anytime you walk outside the door, it's processed. Okay? Anytime you go to a restaurant, that's all processed, even though it looked like it's real food. It really ain't. Shoot, I heard somewhere on Instagram, I saw a video where they actually put glue in steak. Like that all that gristle and stuff like that. That's not gristle. That's glue. Yeah, I know. I was shocked too. I was like, what? Because, if you think about it, that stuff would be all gooey and tough, like dried up glue, or like that little adhesive stuff that they have on certain mail that you get in the mail. Like you pull that little piece of thick, like clear stuff off. That's what it feel like, and that's what it looked like. Can you imagine? They're putting glue in food. And even the cheese that you eat, the Kraft cheese, in their little packs, that ain't real cheese because they put a flame to it. It didn't even melt. It just went like this and just stretched. No real cheese does that. You melt it, it melts. I mean, you put heat to it, it melts. But it just ridiculous. Anyway, but yeah, so he told me to start walking about maybe 15-20 minutes before it actually hit. But I never actually had the stroke because I walked it out of my system. Like I said, yeah, I'm not saying it won't still happen, but when you feel a stroke coming on, start walking down your street and don't stop until you feel better. I'm just saying, if you have a family member that suffers from high blood pressure, and if they call you, or if you call them and say, I think I'm about to have a stroke, just tell them, okay, this is what you do. Grab your keys, go outside, lock your door, and just walk. I'm like, what? Just walk. Just walk. Keep walking and keep walking. Keep your body moving. Keep the arms flailing all over the place. Keep the legs moving so that leg won't lock up. You're going to feel a tingling sensation, but you're not going to feel a numbing sensation. But you have to get at it before it actually happens. If you can just get a feeling like something's going to happen to you, you need to get up. You need to follow that very first instinct. Okay? Your very first instinct is the most important one. That is the one that you always pay attention to. And that's what I did. My first instinct was to listen to my guardian. So I did. So for you, all my friends, all my fans out there, listen to that first instinct. It is the very most important part of your consciousness. You always pay attention to your very first instinct. Okay? Or if you get that voice in the back of your mind, that's your guardian angel telling you through mental telepathy to get up and do what it is you need to do. And if you hear him say that, or her, you need to listen to that voice and start walking. I don't care if it's a one word. Just say walk. You ain't going to know what he means. You're going to be thinking, okay, walk around the house. No, walk outside. Because you got a large span of space where you can just keep walking. And you got to be walking in circles or walking around the couch or walking upstairs and coming back downstairs. Walk in a straight line and just keep walking until you feel better. I guarantee you will feel 100% better. But just pay attention to all of this. Pay attention to your diet. Create a way of life for yourself. Okay? I'm just saying, I've done that. I don't want my mom worrying about me. She calls me every morning around 3 o'clock in the morning, making sure I was all right. I don't want her to do that no more. Okay? So, I'm just saying, from the insane disappearances to my fans, be mindful of that. Okay? Don't let that be the one thing that takes you out. Because I, for darn sure, is not going to let that happen to me because I got too much of life to lead. Okay? So, anyway. Getting to the story of the day. I'm going to make this a short one because, I got to get ready for work really because, I was trying to make sure that my heart rate was good so I won't have to be, So anyway, today I want to talk about two stories. The first one is a recap on Freddie Seth Morgan. I got a comment on that video from one of his friends, a very good friend of his. And she was telling me that I cannot believe that after a year there's still no answers to how he died, and all these questions was coming up, like why was he dead in the back of a church, and he was supposed to be in Cartersville. He worked in another part of Georgia at a company that made supplies for like custodial use, cleaning the bathrooms and stuff like, they made like chemicals and all that stuff. And all of a sudden, he ends up in Cartersville, way across town, dead and behind a church. Nobody has no answers. Okay? And then they try to say maybe he was dealing in drugs and, a drug dealer killed him and all this stuff. They don't know what killed him, so it wasn't a murder. Okay? He wasn't shot in the back of the head or in the back or in the stomach. He wasn't shot. There was no bullet wounds. There was no sign of death on his body, yet he was dead. And see, that's the part that creeps everybody out. Why are you dead if it doesn't show that you're dead? Or how you died? So what could have made you die? Nobody knows. So there's an update on that. Haven't found any more information on that. I've been looking it up. Nobody has no answers. They say death is still pending. So okay. But yeah, moving on to another story. This is I kind of caught on to this one because excuse me. Wow. Okay, I hate that stuff. Go down the wrong pipe. Okay. And this is a very beautiful landscape of the area where he was at. Very beautiful. And I'm gonna take a picture of it, for the thumbnail. So all I know is that this young man was in the Big Island of Hawaii, and hold on a second, something right here. Wait. Okay, here we go. I don't know how that happened. That was crazy. Anyway, now this young man, he was he's about 27 years old. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Oof. Glasses. Should have took care of this a long time ago, but I didn't know they were this messed up. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right. Man was 27 years old. He's a hiker. Now he's been missing on the Hawaii's, Big Island, for at least a week now. Okay, now his name is Kyle Brittain or Brittain, because it's spelled Brittain, so it's either one of the two. It could be something completely different. I don't know. You know how I am with names. So now his father, Steve Brittain. Oh well, first he was last seen on August 30th. While he was hiking in the forest of Waipio, the Waipio Valley. That's one place I haven't been to yet. I've been to the Big Island. Jeez, come on now. Jeez, I hate that these airboats keep just popping up. Anyway, I've been to the Big Island before, but I've never been in any of the valleys. That was like my first time going to Hawaii, period. Just like back in 2007. But it's a very beautiful island. All the islands of Hawaii are very beautiful, especially the Big Island, because that's the main island. That's where everything started. With King Kamehameha, his battle there, combined all of the islands together as one. So now his father, his name is Steve Brittain or Brittain. He told KHON that another hiker last saw him at a bathroom, which was at the Waipio Valley, overlook. That was around like 6 a.m. in the morning. Now he asked where the bathroom was and said, "Hey, have a good day." And that was the last time Steve Brittain, that was the last time he was seen by whoever this hiker was. Now Steve, his father, told NBC News that his son is an experienced hiker who has been hiking since he was a child, which is very good. Very good. Okay. Now, he said Kyle told him he was going to hike the Waipio Valley's Z Trail, and apparently obviously the trail goes like this, So Now, but hadn't planned on doing an entire 12-mile hike. So I guess he was just going to go halfway and come right back, because I'm pretty sure it was a very long trail. So now the Z Trail nicknamed because of the route zigzags, because it zigzags. So like I said, it's like a zigzag shape. He climbs 1,200 feet to the top of a ridge before descending into the Waimanu Valley. Ooh, I love those names. I love those names. Okay, here we go. All right, now, he had brought water, power bars, and his cell phone, but wasn't prepared to be a week in the wilderness. Now, this is what his father was saying. He added that it was Labor Day weekend, so there were hundreds of people out hiking. Hiking, camping in the valley, and walking around. Now, at the time, this is around the time of Kyle's disappearance. Now, Kyle Brittain's car, as like all the others, was found. Now, this is something that WTHR had reported, which is, of course, a news station in Hawaii. But police have not disclosed its location. Now, his phone pinged on the mountain at 8:30 a.m. on August 30th before he lost service. Now, this is coming from CNN. Now, the hiker who was lost in Hawaii forest for 17 days because she didn't bring her cell phone admits to being irresponsible. And I believe this is that woman that I talked about a couple of months ago. She was a native of Hawaii, and she was found. She said she was hearing a voice that was leading her in the wrong direction, and that's how she got lost. And she said no matter where you look, you can easily get lost because there's so much, fauna in the area. It's like you can easily just be thinking that this area is actually over here or that area is over here, and then you can easily get turned around if you're not careful. So, that could be a stake and all that too. Now, his sister-in-law Heather Lee told CNN that a police search ended after 5 days, but a volunteer search is still ongoing, which is very good because you don't want to give up the search and trying to find someone just in case he suffers from malnutrition or being extremely thirsty, because you can only last for no more than maybe a couple of days when it comes to water or a couple of weeks when it comes to food. I forgot exactly how that goes, but it's either one of the two or both. Now, searchers who helped find Maui hiker Amanda Eller, like I said, in May, have flown to the Big Island to help search for Brittain, which is very good, very good. They got a picture of her here in her little her lei headdress, and so it's pretty cool. Now, Ellen spent 17 days in a Hawaiian jungle before she was found alive in the Makaweo. Oh man, I gotta make sure I get that right. Ooh boy, because A is more like so that's Makawao, Makawao or Makawao, something like that. I'm trying to get that right because I'm still a little, sketchy on the pronunciation of Hawaiian like names and stuff like that. But anyway, that forest reserve. This is in the forest reserve in Maui. Police had called off the search after just 3 days. Now, another Maui hiker, Noah Kekai Mina, which I actually remember him. I think I did a story on both of them at the same time. He, was your typical. He kind of reminded you of The Rock because he had a big old Hawaiian tattoo on one arm. And he was, had his shirt off like how they do. He had the little. I guess he even might have had like the towel wrapped around his waist. Because I think he worked for a luau company. I guess I'm not sure. I got to read more into him. But let me see. Make sure I get back on the right track here. Oh yeah, he said he was actually found dead in May, days after he went missing. So nobody really knows what happened to him. He was a native of Hawaii too. Now, volunteers are also searching for another missing hiker in Hawaii. Name is Kiara Henry, 23 years old, of San Diego, California. She was last seen on July 31st when she went for a hike in the. Okay, this is alarming. the Wayanapa. Let me see. Wayanapa. Whew, boy. Why? Okay, let me do this one more time. The Wayanapa Park area on Maui, which was reported by KHON as well. Her family is offering a $10,000 cash reward for a tip leading to Henry's safe return. Let's hope they get on that then. Okay. Now, in the search for Brittain, volunteers have brought in dogs, flown helicopters, and repelled into ravines looking for the 27-year-old. Unfortunately, I think this is what they're saying. This is coming from KHON or Steve's father. Unfortunately, we are starting to look for things we don't want to look for because it's been 8 weeks. So we're starting to look in the rivers and the swamps. That's not good. I mean, we have to look everywhere, right? Yeah, and that's true. You have to look everywhere because you have to eliminate all options. Okay, you start with certain areas where you think he would be in alive, and then you start looking in the areas where you think he would be in as far as being dead, since they already found that other hiker, dead in the jungle, or in the forest of Maui or Hawaii. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. Where you have to go from looking for a live person, then start looking for a dead person. I know they gotta hurt. But anyway, Brittain's family has launched a GoFundMe and a Facebook page to help raise funds and spread the word, of his disappearance. Which is why I'm here. I am the mediator. I am the insane disappearances guy who helps these people find it. Hopefully, me putting this out there will help them find. So if you guys know anyone that knows this guy, please help them out. Call, if they have a number for you to call, I'll make sure I put that at the end of the video, of course, and I'll put that in the video description. It's saying read more. Let's see. Do I have to click on that? No. Okay. Now it says right here, less than a week after a yoga teacher was missing for 17 days, which is the female, was rescued from the Hawaiian jungle. The body of another missing hiker has been found. Okay, that would be her, I imagine. Now it says here, a hiker who was found 17 days after getting lost in the Hawaiian jungle thanked her rescuers who never gave up when police called the search. Let me see. The woman who was lost in the forest for 2 weeks ate moths and lived in a wild boar den. Wow. That's very common in Hawaii, wild boars, because they brought those over from the other Polynesian islands. She did all that to survive. Now, a yoga instructor who went missing while hiking in Hawaii has been found in surprisingly good shape 2 weeks later, which is basically they talk about the same woman. And I think you're supposed to click on that for you to get more information, but that is really unnecessary because we already covered her, so that's cool. Let's see. Yeah, because they're still talking about the same person. No, don't need that. Okay, so that's pretty much it on that. So those are the two stories I wanted to cover. And like I said, sorry for the wait, guys. It's just that your health is very important, and I didn't want to lapse on that. But I know I had to get a video out for you guys so you can keep stay up to date with all these disappearances. There's a bunch of others that I need to cover as well that I found on the Missing 411 Alternative forum on Facebook, which I still suggest you guys be a part of because it's very, 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 very good. These guys are very passionate about the people who are missing, whether it's a child or a grown man, even a deaf woman who I read about who was trying to climb a high mountain. She wanted to challenge herself, and when they found her, she was found not alone. I think they found her with a dog, I believe, and I believe it might have been her dog. I guess I'm not sure. I got to read more into it, but there's a lot of cases that I need to get into. So, but yeah, I just was trying to get my health together so that when I come back, I'll be able to do it without having to stop, because my heart rate is going too crazy, Yeah. So I wanted to make sure I got you guys. I know I got y'all back, every time. So, and once again, I want to thank all my fans for giving me so much love, and showing the fact that telling me how you guys love what I'm doing for the families and all that stuff. I know a lot of times when you see the thumbnails, I'm smiling, but here's the way I see it. The expression on your face shows the emotion of what you are all about. I'm a very happy person. I'm a very humble person. This is not something that I tell people. This is something that they tell me. Okay, so my passion for what I do. I feel like you should never be looking so upset all the time or serious all the time. I'm always a serious person, but I don't show it in my face a lot. I just show that I'm still happy, but yet I'm still thinking about serious stuff. I don't think there's anything wrong with me showing a smile on my face when I'm talking about a serious situation, because you have to be able to smile in the face of adversity and smile in the face of danger, so you won't show fear. Okay, yeah, I'm not out there being a victim with all this stuff, but I don't see nothing wrong with a smile, because when you listen to my video, you see how serious I can be. But just because you see a photo, anyway, I'm like, I'm like this here. That's not a big deal. Don't pay attention to the picture. Pay attention to what I talk about, and realize that what I'm doing is a very good thing. Okay, so there was only one person, and she's entitled to her opinion, and I respect that fully. And another person actually backed me up, but he agreed with her, which I don't. I don't mind, because you have your own opinion. I respect all opinions, no matter how negative or no matter how positive. Okay, so just saying that to say this. Just because I smile does not mean I'm never serious. Okay, for other people, it may be shown as a sign of disrespect, and it's not. It really isn't. It's just me. That's how I am. I like to smile. Okay, even when it comes to a serious matter. Okay, if I'm like this here all the time, if I'm like, just having that disdain look on my face, or I'm just like being, just uptight and serious. Now there's another guy on YouTube. I don't think I've ever seen him smile in his thumbnails. His name is Lord and Arts. He does a lot of very good videos on these cases as well. But he's the person that goes out there and shows you the area where they've been in. I've learned to never even try to do that unless I have everything I need, from what David Paulides always says. So I always have to stay prepared if I ever actually do that at one point, But until then, I'm right here in front of the camera. Okay, I'm not going out there. Okay, because I'm not prepared for that just yet. Anyway, guys, but yeah, I just wanted to get that video out there. It's not what you would probably expect from me most of the time, but it's still one of those cases, and that was a very strange case, even for a man that young. He's still missing. So, and it's not just always about people who they literally just vanish in the thin air and they are never found again. It's also about the ones who are lost and they need to be found. And if they are found, hopefully they'll be alive and not die from malnutrition or die of thirst. So because the body can dry out if you don't constantly lubricate your body with water and all that stuff, especially if you're in a hot area, where there's a lot of sun, especially in Hawaii, because it's hot all year round. At least about, like in the wintertime, it's like 70 degrees, or anywhere between 70 and 75 degrees, because I've been there in November, when it was already cold here on the mainland, but it was like 90 degrees one day, 70 degrees another, 75 degrees the next, so it was always warm, so that's the luxury, but at the same time, it could also be very dangerous if you're in a very dry area like the desert portion of the Big Island. And I've seen those areas, because a lot of those areas are volcanic, or they look more volcanic because of the black sand, which comes from the volcanic ash. They call it the black sand beach on the Big Island on the backside. Because I've been on that side before, and it's on the Hilo side, and they got like all these ancient like huts with grass like roofs, and they have these big old like they call it koa wood vases, or like these little containers that they use to they use that in the luau where they beat on it like a drum or whatever, but it can also use that as stuff to put food or water in, and I've seen those ancient canoes that they use for like 300-400 years or more. So yeah, it's a pretty, I won't say desolate area, but it's very dry and it's very hot on one side, and it could be hot and moist on the other because of the rain and the ocean and all that stuff. So you get a mixture of different temperatures. You know, it's either too hot or too dry, or moist and hot because of it's constantly raining in Hilo because they're so high up in the mountains. You know, and especially when you get towards Mount Mauna Kea, which is where they have the Keck telescopes at, or observatories, which I have been up there too. We're talking about 30,000 feet. Okay, 30,000 feet in thin air. We're talking about blood boiling, hard to breathe, but a very beautiful scape. It is the most amazing thing you've ever seen. Being on the very top of that dormant volcano for the past 30,000 years, you know, or more, and all you see is the top of all the cloud cover. You know, just like how you see in those movies where they be up above the clouds and they're on the mountaintop, you see just clouds just going everywhere. And all you see is the sun setting into the clouds. It's beautiful, but dangerous at the same time because of like I said, the air is so thin, your blood starts to boil because there's not a lot of air. Because, you know, when you put water in a container, you suck out all the air literally evaporates because there's no air to keep it, you know, keep the molecules from, there's no air to keep the molecules together. So they break apart and they just dissolve. You know, and that's the same thing with your blood. Your blood has moisture, it has water in it. So if you don't have enough air, it is going to dissolve. And that's what happened to me. You just feel like a indigestion like feeling in your esophagus, you know, or in your chest where the blood is just literally bubbling, you know, or literally evaporating like atom by atom. It's weird. It feels weird, but you know, you get through it, you know, and because I was up there for maybe at least about a good 2 hours. You know, so, and they gave us overcoats on the bottom of the island, okay, at the very tip of this mountain, okay. So by the time we got up there, it was like 30 degrees. You know, the higher you get, the colder it gets. So yeah, when we got back down to the bottom, 90 degrees. So yeah, but yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. I'm glad I got back on here. You know, I just wanted to take care of myself. I wanted to make sure I was well enough to get on here without having to stop or feel like I needed to just wait a while. I didn't want to wait too long. I normally I'll wait about 3 weeks if I got a lot of stuff going on, like say when my daughter was graduating and everything. So that took a while. And like I said, with me being sick, I just didn't feel like getting on here, but I knew I had to because of you guys. And I always want to make sure you guys are up to date with a lot of this information. And of course, stay tuned for more. So that's it, guys. You know how I do it at the end of every video. I know you guys were waiting for that for the past month. So here it is. Aloha, mahalo, and ahuiho. Peace out, brother, and peace out, wahine. Peace. Oh, this is my mom. Hold on. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, he finished.
Yes, good.
You'll have air, you know, real soon. He said, but keep your fans going. Cause the sooner how you say that? He said, it's I'm trying to think back.
Take your time. Take your time.